Right. Please say 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Once again, good evening to everyone. So it's 1st of July, and almost 6 months have already gone, and you only have another 6 months to practice. Time is passing very, very fast. Don't think that you have a lot of time. So it is something that you cannot stop at that, and that you cannot drag back. So whatever the lifetime that you have, within that time, as much as possible, please dedicate your time to develop spiritually, to practice this noble spiritual practice, this non-sectarian practice. So the outcome, it is also non-sectarian and very wholesome. So practice very ardently, first of all for your own benefit, then for the benefit of the other people. So with that intention, today too, we are going to start. So first of all, if there are meditators who are joining very today, so for them, I would like to remind, so breathing meditation in brief. So, so today, the new meditators, they are asked not to practice Vipassana meditation. Instead, they are asked to practice kindly, very kindly. They are asked to practice breathing meditation. So pay your entire attention towards your breath. When the breath is coming in, be fully aware. When it is going out, be fully aware. If it is long, be aware that it is long. So if you are experiencing a short breath, then be aware that you are experiencing a short breath. And if it is gross, if it is soft, just be aware as it is. So keep on observing the breath, and don't forcibly breathe in and breathe out. Instead, keep on observing the normal, natural breath as it is, right? So that is for the new meditators. So Vipassana meditators, the old students, so you are practicing the second step of Vipassana now. So, so you started first step. In the first step, you practice observing, scanning the sensations from top of your head to the chin area. Then after that, we started observing the neck, and then gradually we spread it. We started scanning. We started observing the sensations on your right hand and on your left hand. So today too, we will practice the same. So now gradually, you might have experienced yourself. You might have understood yourself that you are developing, right? So now, when various kinds of negative emotions arise, you don't have to struggle so much like before to let them go. So now you can, you might have gained the ability to encounter them faster, and you realize now, whenever such kind of negative emotions like anger, hatred, jealousy, ill will, and vanity, or any such kind of negative thought, when it comes up, now you realize it fast. And you understand that whenever you feel such kind of negative emotions, the body also reacts to them with uncomfortable sensations. Then you realize, right, if I keep on hanging to these thoughts, these emotions, what will happen is I harm myself. So let these negative emotions go. So you might have started to let these negative emotions go. So sometimes sometimes you might encounter certain negative emotions and they might stay longer. So in such kind of cases, so I will teach you. So 5 ways of thinking, 5 kinds of thinkings to counter such kind of strong negative emotions, right? So listen very carefully, and if you have something to write down, please write down. If not, listen to this video again, and at home you can write it down, right? And not only that, you have to practice. Please practice. These are not for the knowledge. These are for practice, right? Whoever you are, so these are for your practice. So whenever a negative emotion arises, now you already know, you have to think, you have to develop, in contrast to that, against it, you have to develop a positive emotion, right? If a jealousy comes, then you develop sympathetic joy, right? So if an anger comes, instead you try to develop loving kindness and forgiving. And at the same time, any negative, whenever a negative emotion comes, you try to develop a thought which is opposite in nature to that thought. You know, the carpenters. So the carpenters, whenever there is a there is a small nail that they want to take out, if they don't have the instruments with them, so what they do is they take a bigger nail, and they are using that bigger nail. What they do is they remove that small nail, right? So just like that, develop the bigger nail, a positive thought, against the small nail, the negative thought. Then what will happen? You will be able to come out of that small nail, that negative emotion. Number 1. Then number 2, sometimes still, if that negative emotion is stronger, what will happen is it will stay further. Then at such times, start thinking about the consequences of having such kind of thoughts, such kind of emotions. So whenever you have a negative emotion, so there are so many consequences that you have to face. Health-wise, it is not good for you. Your blood gets spoiled, and at the same time, it's not good for your whole body. And at the same time, for body and mind, it's uncomfortable. It brings discomfort. And at the same time, if it grows, you don't know what you will do later on. Let's say anger, it grows like a tree, right? If you hang on to it more and more and more, then finally you might do some kind of horrible things that you even cannot comprehend. You become so remorseful later on, but when a thing is happen, it's happened. So you have to take precautions. So what you need to do is you have to think twice, right? And you have to think of the consequences that might come. So you have to get rid of such kind of thoughts. So when you think like that, those emotions will go away. So when you start thinking about the consequences of having these kinds of negative emotions, then those negative emotions might go away. So it is just like so let's say somebody have a bath, good bath, with and that person applies So various kinds of creams and scents. And then now that person is very clean and very good snake. Another person comes with a dead snake, and this person throws the dead snake towards you. So let's say that person, for a joke, keeps that dead snake, that dead stinking snake around your neck. What do? Do you like it? You don't like it. You don't like it. You throw it away. Just like that. So when such kind of emotions come, think of the consequences and throw it away. Number 3, there are certain negative emotions which will stay even after thinking about the consequences. So then try to forget about it completely and try to think about something else. So you forget about this and try to think about something else. So it is just like this. So sometimes when you have, so some people don't like horror films, right? Still they watch, but when there are horror scenes, they don't like it. What they do is they close their eyes, so they can't see, and they close their ears too. So just like that. So what, this is a horror film. So such kind of strong negative emotion is a horror film. So whenever, if you don't like, so definitely you don't like negative emotions. So just like you close your eyes for horror films, horror scenes, horrific scenes. So think about something else and forget about this, right? So number 3. So then number 4, especially this is for Vipassana meditators. So number 4, if it so still stays, there are certain negative emotions that still stay, and then what you should do is, so go back to the try to remember the cause of that negative emotion. How did it happen? How it happened? Go back and give positive suggestions. Let's say somebody, for an example, somebody told you something bad. That's why you got angry, and now you are shivering with anger. So you go back, you try to go back, and you try to give a different suggestion, right? You will say, oh, maybe that person got so much angry, that's why he said it. Maybe that person is remorseful right now, right? Like that, you give a different suggestion to your mind. Then what will happen is, so whenever you give such kind of positive suggestions, it will stop. So so it is just like this. There are some kind of people. So when they are lazy, what they do is, when they walk fast, when they have to walk faster, they think, oh, why should I walk fast? I should walk slow. Then after walking slowly, that person thinks, all right, no use of walking slowly, let me have a little rest. That person sits. And after sitting, that person thinks, let me have a small nap. So that person has have a small nap. This is just like that. You give suggestions, positive suggestions, and you stop the quantity of your anger or your jealousy or your hatred or your vanity or anything, any negative emotion. You slow down the force, right? And there are certain negative emotions which will still stay. At such times, understand, if you let these negative emotions to stay, it's harmful for you. So Buddha advises us at such times, so to even by biting the teeth and locking the lips and giving your entire strength, you have to think, even though my life goes, I won't allow this negativity to continue. So, um, so when you think like that, even though that's a very strong negative emotion, so the more you develop effort, the um, the um, the negativity, gradually its energy goes down and down and down, and finally it comes to a level that you can control. So just like a giant harasses harasses a weaker person, so you have to shake and shake and shake, so it'll energy might go down, right? So that's how you have to encounter. Those are the 5 ways to encounter negative emotions, right? So when you encounter them like that, you will be able to come out of the clumsy state of your mind, and you will be able to calm your mind down, and then you will be able to stop your mind's wandering, and then you will be able to make peace within, and at the same time you will be able to develop concentration within. So please practice like that in your day-to-day life, right? So that is especially for Vipassana meditators, all students, but it is applicable for the new students too. So you can also practice those. Um, so please practice like that. Now we are going to start. So everyone, now please keep your back straight, neck straight, head straight. Please keep your right palm on your left palm and let your whole body to relax. Let your whole body to relax. Take a deep breath and let it go. And calm down. Calm down. So if you are practicing, if you are an old student, a Vipassana meditator, please practice Vipassana meditation. If you are a new student, as I instructed, please practice breathing meditation. Before we start, I'll do a small chanting to pay respect to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, to show gratitude. And then after that, we'll begin the session, silent meditation session. Please concentrate. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Itimiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho viññācarana sampanno sugato lokamido anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati sattādeva manussanam muddho bhagavati swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko akaliko ehi passiko opanayiko paccatang veditabbo viññuhiti supadipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Unyupadipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Nyāya patipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Samīci patipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Yadidang cattari purisa yugani Ate purisa puggala Esa bhagavato savaka sangho Ahuneyo pahuneyo Dakineyo anjali karaniyo Anuttarang punyaketang lokasati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. With a very calm mind, with a very quiet mind, very alert, very attentive mind, balanced and equanimous mind. Everyone, please start your meditation with patience. As I mentioned, if you are practicing, if you are an old student, please practice Vipassana. Keep on observing the body. So from top of your head to the tips of fingertips of your left hand, part by part, pitch by pitch. And whatever the sensations that you experience within any of those parts, so all those sensations, please remind yourself, are impermanent. They are not lasting forever. They are changing, impermanent. So keep on observing sensations part by part, pitch by pitch, from top of your head to the fingertips of your left hand. New meditators, keep on observing the breath. When it is coming in, be aware. When it is going out, be aware. If it is long, short, gross, or soft, let it be so. Just keep on observing the natural breath, normal breath as it is. Now everyone, please start the meditation. May your meditation be very successful, very successful. Please start. Now, the new meditators, they can change their posture if they like. So, all students, please keep the same posture. Now we are going to practice loving kindness meditation in brief. We share our loving kindness with ourselves, then with our parents, teachers, relatives, and friends. Then after that, with the people in the middle, then with the enemies, and finally with all the beings in the world. Calm down. Let's start spreading loving kindness. First of all, let's share our loving kindness with ourselves. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be very peaceful. Spread love and kindness towards yourself. Then to the second group, let's share our loving kindness with them too. May my parents, teachers, relatives, and friends be well, be happy, be peaceful. May my parents, teachers, relatives, and friends be well, be happy, be peaceful. Now let's spread our loving kindness towards the people who are in the middle, who are neutral, who are not our enemies, who are not our friends. May the people in the middle be well, be happy, be peaceful. May they be very peaceful. Spread loving kindness towards the people in the middle. Now let's think about our enemies. First of all, please forgive for the mistakes that they have done. At the same time, ask forgiveness mentally for the mistakes, wrongdoings of you. Now let's share our loving kindness with the enemies. May our enemies also be well. May our enemies also be happy. May our enemies also be peaceful. May they be very peaceful. Now let's share our loving kindness with all the beings in the world. Not only human beings, all kinds of inhuman beings, visible, invisible, big or tiny, powerful or weak. Let them be any kind. We share our loving kindness with all those beings, all the beings in the whole universe. May all beings in the world be well, be happy, be peaceful. May they be very peaceful. Spread loving kindness towards all the beings, all the beings. Now everyone, very calmly and slowly, please open your eyes. Take a deep breath. Let it go. Relax yourself. And please join your palms together and very peacefully. Please say 3 times, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. So, dear Dhamma friends, now hopefully you can feel the sensations, right? At least somewhat. So, when you now, at home, please practice the practices that I asked you to do. Number 1, can you remember the habit of mindfulness? So whatever one activity I asked you to pick, so I told it before. So like on March or April. So pick up one daily activity that you do. It should be an activity that you do daily, just like brushing your teeth or washing your face or eating or such kind of thing. So, or driving, so whatever it is. So I asked you to be mindful during that time. So to stay mindful. And at the same time, I asked you to practice loving kindness towards, especially to when you hear the sounds of ambulances. So whenever you hear the sound of ambulances, I ask you to spread loving kindness towards the patient. Whoever inside the ambulance, may that patient be well, be recover soon, may that person recover soon, and may that person be able to live normal, healthy, comfortable life as long as possible, right? So I ask you to practice that too. And so there is something else that I ask you to practice. Another one more thing. So during the day-to-day life, now please start practicing the sign of mindfulness too. What is sign of mindfulness? So when you are doing day-to-day things, to connect with the present moment now, right? To the moment of now. So please be aware about this so the small triangular area, the touch of breath of your small triangular area, right? The area below the nostrils, above the upper lip, there is this small triangular area. So during the day-to-day life, so when you live, try to be aware about this place too. So then you will be able to connect with present moment, right? Then the mind won't wander, it won't run away to the past, it won't run away to the future. You will be able to do things mindfully right now with happiness and peace. So first of all, peace, then with happiness. So make sure you are to be aware about the touch of the breath within this area. You can try now too. So it will help you to connect with this moment. So this is called as sign of mindfulness. Sign of mindfulness. In Pali, it is called as sati nimitta. Sati means mindfulness. Nimitta means nimitti. It is in all South Asian languages. So nimitti means the sign. Sati nimitta. So please practice that. So before conclusion, I promise you to teach the third noble truth. So in brief, I'm going to teach you about the third noble truth. All of you learned about the first of four noble truths. We understood that in this world, so whoever we are, let we be Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, Jew, atheist, agnostic, or whatever it is. So we have to face. So we have to face the first noble truth. What is the first noble truth? There is a dissatisfaction. There is a universal suffering. What is that? So starting from birth, then we have sickness. So sickness is suffering. Sickness brings dissatisfaction. And then after that, old age. It is there. Decay, nature of decay. It brings dissatisfaction. It brings suffering. It is continuously here with each and every being. So then the phenomenon of death. Death brings us, so death is there and it also brings us dissatisfaction and suffering. And then whatever we wish, it doesn't happen, something else happens. This is the nature. So that suffering, that nature of dissatisfaction is there too. And then whatever we like, so those things we have to depart from them. So then continuously it happens each and every moment. So then that suffering, that dissatisfaction is there too. And whatever we don't like, we have to associate them. Then let it be persons, or let it be things, right? Feelings. So at such times, so there is that suffering, that is satisfaction too. And finally, so uh, so whether we like or not like, we have to deal with 5 aggregates. What are the 5 aggregates? The form, then the signals, then the sensations, signals, mental perceptions, and the consciousness. So combination of these 5 is the being. So we have to deal with them continuously. These they are 2. So so that brings dissatisfaction and suffering too. And this is universal. Let it be a human being, let it be an animal, we all have this. And then, so why it brings suffering? I taught you the cause. So the cause is craving. We always crave for good, comfortable sensations. So comfort. We don't like discomfort. And without understanding their real nature, we develop craving, right? We think that so comfortable sensations are mine, and the person who feels these comfortable sensations, that person is I. But the reality now you understand gradually through Vipassana meditation that we are changing continuously. The person who was in the last moment, you can't experience the very same person in this moment. The person who is in this moment, that person won't last for the next moment. We are changing so uncountable number of times, each and every moment. So so you can't encounter 2 persons, so the same person twice, right? So each and every moment you meet, even though you mentally think you meet the same person, actually we meet different persons, right? The person changes. And then but without understanding that, not by theory but by practice, so since they don't know it as a experiential truth, so what we do is we think there's this I, my. So then we develop craving, right? Then because of this craving, we suffer. Then not to suffer. So third noble truth is, so how to get rid of this suffering? That means, so there is a solution to this suffering. So that is the third one. In the fourth one, so in the fourth noble truth, we learn the solution for suffering, the procedure, how to come out of suffering, how to come out of dissatisfaction. So number 3, third noble truth out of 4 noble truths is, so so the freedom from suffering. That is the third noble truth. So there is this craving. Buddha says, chagu, patinisaggu, mutti, and analaya. That means chago, give up the craving. Patinisaggu, let go of the craving. Mutti, be free from the craving. Analayo, don't like the craving. So that is the way how to get rid of the craving. You have to let it go. If you don't let it go, so someone has some kind of a hot charcoal on your hand. It's beautiful, right? It's beautiful. It looks like it's beautiful, but what happens? Your hand is burning. the more you hold on to that one, what will happen? You are going to suffer. You will suffer. So craving is something like that. It is not natural. You, with your ignorance about the real nature, so you created it. You developed this craving. But so it doesn't go with the real nature. So it prevents you from joining with the real nature, right? So then what happens? The more you hold this, the more you hold on to this artificial craving that you created, what happens is you are bound to suffer. So throughout this life, you suffer, and then many lives. So if you keep on hanging to this, the more you hold on to this one. So for many lives, you are bound to suffer. This is the reality. So Buddha asks us to let it go of this craving. So when we have a sickness, so we have to understand this is the sickness, and you don't let it to stay the same. If you let that sickness to stay the same, it will grow and grow and grow and grow, and it brings you a lot of suffering. Instead, the wise people, what they do, they treat it. They start treating it. They meet a good doctor. They start to undergo the medical procedure, and then the wise people, they try to come out of that craving. So that sick disease, that sickness. So and to come out of this craving, so the words. So we might have the knowledge, right? There is this craving. Only by knowing that there is a craving, it doesn't. So it doesn't help us to come out of craving. We had to follow the path to come out of craving. So come out of suffering. So so until we practice and experience ourselves, right? We come out of our negativities by ourselves, the negativities won't go. Even though how much knowledge you have about this universal suffering, this universal dissatisfaction. So the cause of this universal dissatisfaction and suffering, even though by theory, by knowledge, you know that there is a path, and there is a universal path, and there is a universal way of coming out of it, still knowledge doesn't matter. If you don't practice and experience it within, if you don't come out of your negativities by your own practice, the suffering stays. For the knower and for the not knower, both, right? So knowledge is not enough. Practice is very important. So then right. Then so some people might talk about coming out of suffering in words, but until the craving stays, so there is this suffering. A story. This story is from Burma. So there was one very famous Dhamma teacher. He was very famous to talk about, to give talks in funerals. So whenever someone passes away, someone's mother or father passes away, he is the first choice in that region to get the invitation and to come and give a Dhamma talk. So whenever the other people hear it, their sorrow goes away. He is so clever. So one day, so one such kind of a devotee, so whose mother passed away, and so this his mother also passed away. He invited this Bhante, and this Bhante came and gave a great Dhamma talk. So everyone's sorrow has gone, right? Later on. So because of that Dhamma talk. So out of gratitude, he went to see that Bhante. When he was reaching the temple, he heard somebody crying so loudly. So there were some people around. So he asked, "Why? Who is crying? That much loudly?" He said, "You know that Dhamma teacher who gives great lectures? His mother passed away. So he is crying inside his room." He was astonished. Oh, that Bhante gives great Dhamma talks in funerals, and he says everything is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. So he gives great, don't worry, don't cry. So calm down. But now he is crying. Let me go and meet him. He went, and that Bhante is continuously crying, but he went to pay respect. So he went to that Bhante and said, "Bhante, so you gave a great Dhamma talk at my mom's funeral, and so we could become calm. We could calm down eventually. But now you are crying. You are a monk. You are a Bhante. How can you cry?" Then he said, "At that time, your mother passed away. This time, the mother who passed away is mine. That's why I am crying." So that is the case. Whenever it happens to you, if you are not practicing, what happens is, so even though how much theory that you know, how much knowledge that you have, so still you suffer just like the person who, just like the other. So practically, you have to, by experience, so through this meditation, by right kind of contemplation, right? By reminding yourself about this nature, you have to let go of this craving, let go of this. You have to give up this craving. You have to free from this craving. You have to be free from this craving, and you have to abandon this craving. So if not, still that stays. Another incident. So my own experience. So the closest meditators know that almost 5 years ago, my own sister passed away. At that time, I couldn't go to. I had to take a decision either to stay and serve for the people and the Dhamma here, or to go to Sri Lanka, because I was on visa. So my visa was over, and I applied. The temple applied for my green card. If I go, I can't come back. So finally, I took the decision. I'll stay. So there was a huge gathering. Many people came for my sister's funeral, and my Dhamma school students, by small students, they also joined. So among them, there was one small child, 8-9 years old girl. She came along with her grandparents and the brother. So parents, grandparents, and the brother. So she couldn't understand what's going on. that was her first such kind of a funeral, Buddhist funeral. So she asked her grandma. So I got the information later on. Asked her grandma. So what has happened here? So then grandma told her, your teacher's only sister has passed away. Then she said, she have asked her grandma, what? Then why Bhante is not crying? Why he is so calm? So then grandma got in dilemma at first, because she was unprepared for that question. So finally she said, Bhante is meditating. That's why he's not crying. So somehow, so that's how it is. So people always believe whenever such kind of thing happens, so you should cry, right? So whenever we understand the nature, what happens is, so you realize it. So you don't want to go against the current. Instead, you understand how it flows. So you go along with the current. Whoever it is, they have the nature of change. So we might have, because of craving, we might have various kinds of attachments to various people, various things, but it doesn't mean they last forever. They are impermanent, they are changing. So how much you hold them to them saying, this is mine, this is my soul, the nature, it is bound to show according to its own way. So if you don't go along with the current, you only will have sorrow, you only will have distress, and you will develop anger, hatred, and various kinds of negativity. So you have to go along, you have to understand the nature, and you have to bow down to the nature, because that's how things go. So as human beings, without understanding this nature, so out of craving, we develop attachments to 4 kinds of things, saying these are mine. Number 1, karmas. Karma means sensual pleasure. Sensual pleasure means there are 5 things I taught you. Sensual pleasure of forms, so to see forms. So for the sight, sensual pleasure that to hear. So for the sounds, so there are sounds. So sensual, so attachment to the sounds. Then attachment to the smells, and attachment to the taste. So attachment to the smells. So you always want to say these are mine. So you want to obtain them more and more, right? Out of craving. Then what happens if anyone talks bad about any of them? Then there is a conflict. Let's say somebody likes Ed Sheeran. That person likes Ed Sheeran songs, and that person doesn't like Enrique Iglesias, right? Then there is another person who likes Enrique Iglesias and doesn't like Ed Sheeran. Then what happens when they meet? So conflict. They fight. My one is the greatest. The other one is not the other one. So just like Indian, cinema fans, right? Big wars. So sometimes there are huge fights. So it happens so because you develop attachments. But in those, so all those sights, they are continuously changing. Those sounds, they are continuously changing. The person who hears, who sees, you are also continuously changing. You have to realize this. the smells, so the taste, and the touches, and the person who feel those things, that we change. Those things change. So whenever you have to deal with them, you have to deal with them. So other than that, you should not develop as much as possible. You have detached and should not develop attachment towards it, right? And then ditthis, we have views. So we have various kinds of views, and we attach to them too. So if someone, if you, let's say, so we have our own color glasses. Some people see with blue ones, some people see with red ones, some people see the world with white, black ones. So then they fight. My view is right, your view is wrong. Like that, they have attachments. So then what happens? You only fight and you suffer. So we have to remove those color glasses, and we have to see the world with open eyes, right? And but we develop attachments towards them too, out of craving. And then various kinds of practices, right? So various kinds of practices, we develop attachments. And at the same time, we develop attachment, the biggest attachment towards yourself. I. So there are these 4 kinds of attachments. Whenever someone says, so there is no I, you don't like it. Because then who is there? You think. But whenever you realize, gradually it changes. But at the beginning, you don't like to hear that, right? You don't like to, so whenever you have attachment towards those 4, then you are bound to suffer, right? Then you have to get rid of this craving. Whenever you get rid of this craving, your mind stays balanced throughout your life. And whatever it happens, your peace and your inner happiness, deep happiness, it doesn't move. Then, so each and every moment in your life, you live with that peace and that happiness, right? So if you like it, then definitely you have to let go of this craving, right? Teaching another story, I'll finish. This is from Japan. So I told a story from Burma, United States, and now from Japan. So there was a Bante in Japan, so who lived closer to closer to the sea. So that village was situated closer to a sea. So in this village, that the villagers, their profession was fishing. So Japan has a lot of islands, they do a lot of fishing. So and at the same time, I have myself the experience. So because of their rough profession, so people become rough too. So it was not easy to live over in that area. But one thought it's a good area to live and develop. To develop balance of mind and to spread loving kindness. So he, Singyu, Bante's name is Singyu. So in this very village, there was a headman. Those days, so in villages, so there was a headman. So this headman had a daughter, a beautiful daughter. This daughter had a secret relationship with someone, a young man who worked in the fish market. Because of their relationship, that girl got conceived. The headman got to know about this, and he was a very fiery person. Hearing this news, he was furious. He was furious. He took his knife, the knife that he uses to cut fish, and threatened the daughter. Tell me the person who did this to you. I will cut that person into pieces. He yelled. This daughter, the daughter of that headman, she was so afraid that he'll go and kill her fiance. So she thought of someone that if she tell the name, that his father won't harm. Finally, and unfortunately or fortunately, she thought of Bante Sinyung. She told Bante Sinyung is the father of the child. So the village headman, he didn't check the facts. He was so furious. So he grabbed her daughter with one hand and the fish cutting knife with the other hand. You know, the fish cutting knife, it's not small, it's so big, and ran to the temple. And he started yelling at Bante, look, you look like a saint here, but your head is shaven and always go looking at the floor and talks very slowly. So, but look what you have done. If you were not a Bante, I would have cut you into pieces. I will give you a good punishment. I will let her stay at the temple. So when the child is born, you have to feed the child, feed the baby, and you have to cost all the expenses for the child. So you have to spend for all the expenses of the child, and you have to take care of the mother and the child at the temple. You know, that is the biggest scandal that can happen to a Bante, right? Because money is not the big scandal. These kind of scandals are the biggest ones. Then what happened? So people stopped giving dan. Right away, people stopped donations. Now the temple is running with zero rupees. So zero coins. No financial background. So Bante had to work at a factory close by. In Japan, Bantes can work, even though not in the other Asian countries. So whatever the salary that he got, he started spending on the mother and later on the baby. It was so hard for him. But Bante Sinyung didn't say anything. He kept the calm mood in the same manner. He was calm, he was quiet, he was practicing meditation daily, and he was the same person. So some time went. So several years passed, and now the child is 2-3 years old. Finally, that girl couldn't bear the pain. She was so sad about Bante. Finally, she went to her fiancé and they discussed. Anymore, I can't bear the pain of that Bante. So let's go and let's tell the truth to our father. Let him cut us by half. But still, we want to say, we won't reveal everything. Both of them went and knelt in front of the father and told the truth. Father was furious, but the fury has gone down now. Remorse came to his mind. Tears rolled continuously through his cheeks. So, what kind of sinners you are? He cried, I gave so much suffering and pain to that Bhante out of no reason. So with his daughter and his wife and the other family members, so and the fiance of his daughter, he went to the temple. Kneeling in front of the Bhante, he asked forgiveness. And he asked the baby back. If it is another person, that person is bound to ask for all the expenses, right? But Bhante was so calm. He said, oh, is that so? That's it. That's what he said. He just gave the very same smile that he gave to the village headman when he took the responsibility of the child. So it is like that. Whenever you whenever the craving is gone, your mind is calm. Whatever the calamities it comes, but with the balanced mind, you accept. You work with the current situation, and time passes, things change. Good times comes, bad times comes, advantages come, disadvantages comes, fames come, and then comes the abuse, so scoldings, and you lose things, you get things change, but the mind, it stays the same with peace and with happiness. So now please sing together, all of us, practice very ardently and accumulated a lot of positive energy. So we share this positive energy with all of us. May all our troubles be away. May all good things happen in our lives, and practicing the Dhamma path ardently, eradicating the craving and developing all the positivities. May all of us attain real peace, real happiness, Nibbana. Please join your hands together and please concentrate. Abhivadana silisse niccang vada pachayino Chattaro dhamma vaddanti ayuvang sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevache ato nibbana sampatti iminati samijjato. May you be well, may you be happy, may you be very peaceful. Sukhi hotu, sukhi hotu. Good night, and may all the good things happen to you. And see you on next Friday. Sukhi hotu, sukhi. Right. Good night, Ms. Pragati.
Thank you, Bhante. Good night, Bhante.
Good night, Ustav.
Good night, Bhante. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good night, Jaime.
Good night, Bhante. Thank you.
Good night. Buenas noches. Good night, Miss Liz.
Thank you, Bhante. I appreciate it.
May you be happy. Good night. Jayantanendi, Rajamani, good night.
Good night, Peruan Sanay.
Tiruvan Sanne.